Greetings and welcome to another musical adventure in time travel. Today I'm going to be just examining the possibility whether the lyres of Antiquity, or the pinnacle of the ancient Greek lyres, the kithara as they used to call it, was either the guitar of the ancient world or the Appalachian dulcimer. This is to do with the style of playing called block and strum. Now this style is still actually practiced today in Africa, where they play particularly, say for example in Eritrea, where they play the kithara. And this is an amazing lyre, very similar in name to the kithara in fact. And it's the same style of playing where you block strings and you kind of strum with the plectrum. So it gives quite a rhythmic sound to the melody. But there are two main ways you can actually do this block and strum. The first way is to actually produce pretty modern sounding chords. I can maybe demonstrate on this thing. So you could do something that sounds very much like a chord you could strum on the guitar, something like this. And you see, I'm blocking specific strings in my left hand and leaving specific strings open to be strummed with the plectrum. And you can actually do chord progressions. Quite modern sounding chords. But the thing is, although it's possible to play on any lyre with between say 7 to 9 strings or whatever, most modern sounding guitar chords, these might have sounded quite alien to an ancient Greek person, because although the lyre was meant to be played with both hands, the only documented thing we have on the very basic harmonies that were used back over 2,000 years ago are pure consonant intervals like fifths and fourths. And there's actually a quote in a 1st century text, I believe, where it actually specifically mentions how fifths can be used to sweeten a melodic line. And fifths form perfectly naturally on the kithara. You can just pluck a nice pure fifth and play a melody above it. And it's very simple to do that, and it's just the spacing between the strings is perfect for plucking fifths. But regarding the block and strum technique, you can actually create an Appalachian dulcimer sound, basically like this. If I can just find the right position, yes, there we go. So what I'm going to do, the only strings I'm leaving open are fifths and fourths. And just by lifting fingers off the strings, I can play any sort of melody. So that might have been possibly more what the ancient Greeks were actually blocking and strumming. It's documented that fifths were used to sweeten the melodic line, and there's countless pictures of ancient Greek kithara players with these plectrums and blocking strings and happily strumming away, and that's maybe what they were doing. But there are other things you can do with the block and strum technique if you're doing a chord style. So I'll just try and play a chord of some description. Let me just think of a nice chord that should work. Kind of suspended. It's quite modern sounding chords. That's similar to like a modern minor chord. But a really interesting thing you can do with this block and strum technique is that the fingers that are used to block the specific strings, you can actually pluck with them in between the plectrum strokes, so you have something like this. And you can do it change chord. So there's lots of potential you can do. So you have basically an Appalachian dulcimer sound. You can play modern guitar chords, whether they were used back in the day, impossible to say. And then that other technique where you can actually pluck melody notes in between the strums. So maybe something along these lines was being done 2,000 years ago in the ancient Greek kithara. Players were playing these wonderful instruments. Who knows? But more about the kithara and all the other amazing instruments of the ancient world on my website www.ancientlyre.com. Please check it out. And I hope you enjoy my musical adventure in time travel. Bye for now.